Equivalent fractions means that they are equal to each other. So in order to find out if a fraction is equal to another fraction, then you need to find a common denominator. So let's look at an example of 1/2. 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. And to find a common denominator, you would have to multiply the numerator and the denominator times the same number. So if you multiply anything times 1, you're essentially getting the same number. So 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2. So anything times 1 is itself. So if you multiply the numerator and the denominator times the same number, 2/2 is the same thing as 1 whole. So we're using that to find an equivalent fraction. So 1/2 times 2/2 gives us 2/4, which makes it equivalent fractions. The same would be if we were to multiply 2/4 times 2/2, and then that would give us 4/8. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4, it's also equivalent to 4/8, and it's also equivalent to 8/16. If you look at a picture, I have a 1/2 shaded in over here. If you were to cut this in half, it now becomes 2/4. So we had 1/2, cut it into another half, and then we still have 2/4 and 1/2. Just by cutting it in half, it's still the same amount shaded in, it just cuts it into smaller pieces. So that shows you that 1/2 is the same as 2/4. Another example, we have 3/4, which is also equivalent to 6/8. If we were to multiply the numerator and the denominator times 2/2, then that would give us 6/8. We could also multiply 3/4 times 3/3. As long as the numerator and the denominator are the same that you're multiplying it by, whatever version of 1 whole, it will give you the same equivalent fraction. So 3 times 3 equals 9, and 4 times 3 equals 12. So these are also equivalent. As long as the numerator and denominator are multiplied together as the same number by the numerator and denominator of your fraction that you're trying to find an equivalent one for, then they are equivalent. Another example over here with the picture is if I have 3/4 shaded in over here, and let's say that I wanted to cut this into 3 different pieces. Imagine it as a cake, and the part that's shaded in is the amount that's left. So we originally had 3/4, but now we cut it 2 more ways in the opposite direction. So the part that's shaded in still stays the same, but if we count how many pieces we cut it into, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 out of 12 pieces that are shaded in. So they are equal, the amount shaded in did not change.